Welcome to Catalyst Conversations, the podcast where we spark powerful change in women's wealth. I'm Hadriana Leo, a wealth coach, counselor, and strategist, and each week we dive into the conversations, strategies, and stories that help women confidently create the life they've always dreamed of. So grab your favorite bevy, settle in, and let's get started on transforming your relationship with money. This is Catalyst Conversations, igniting change in women's wealth. Let's spark the conversation. Hi there, and welcome to another episode of Catalyst Conversations. I'm happy to be your host. I'm Hadriana Leo, Money Navigator, and today I'm answering your questions. Actually, you're probably thinking, or maybe you're shy to ask your questions. You're thinking, well, I'm obviously the only one with that question. But in my years of experience in the financial services industry and as a coach, a lot of you have very similar questions. I know I had very similar questions to what my clients are asking me these days. So I figured I'm going to help answer some of those, not a whole lot. We'll do 2 or 3 if we have some time. And before I dive into the answers, I'm just going to invite you, if you do have questions that you would love to have me answer on a podcast episode, we will do other listener mailbag episodes coming up. So send me an email, send me a message, leave your question in the comments. I'm going to collate all of those and attempt to answer as many as I can in future listener mailbag episodes. So put your questions in there. If I don't deal with them today, I'm certainly going to work on getting them into future episodes. So let's dive right in. So here's a question I get that often, actually. Okay, so the question is, hey, Hadriana, I'm earning well, but I feel like my money disappears every month. I'm struggling to save and invest. What am I doing wrong? That used to be my issue. To be honest, I was working, I was earning well, and I still had to find pennies to kind of put my life back together. So I totally get how you're seeing money come in, but before you blink, it's gone. When I started early on in my coaching career, I used to call them money leaks. You know, it's as if you have holes in your floorboards, and just like you winterize your house to prevent the cold air from coming in, you needed some method to kind of money-proof your home so money didn't leak out. I'm wiser, and yes, there is a component of money going out that is, these spending activities that you're just not keeping track of. So I understand that. But what I found to be the bigger contributor to that unconscious disappearance of money, it has more to do with triggers as opposed to you doing something wrong necessarily. So I want you to start thinking, move your thinking away from, tightening up your belt, setting up a stricter budget. Move your money away from that and start looking at the emotional contributors to your spending decisions. Your emotional relationship with money is impacting how you're spending and what you're spending on. So here's a quick win for you. I want you to start tracking your money with an eye to how you're feeling before and after that spending activity. I want you to get an idea of what is setting you up to spend. Are you going to do your groceries when you're hungry? Are you taking the kids along? Or worse yet, your partner? Ugh. What about, when you're going to the mall? Are you going to the mall right after scrolling through Instagram or your friend's Pinterest page? Are you going into, your financial advisor's office right after you've realized that, your checking account is depleted and you're feeling very much down in the dumps? What are the emotional triggers that surround your spending? And once you understand that, if you can identify those triggers, you can then begin to make empowered choices that will help align your spending to your values. So the disconnect, it's not that the money is disappearing so much, but that the money is disappearing before it gets to do the things that you actually value. The money's going places that you're not intentionally sending it to. And then the things that you are claiming as, I value this and I want to make this a priority, the money's already gone before it gets to do that. So there's going to be a reprioritization, but not so much about allocating, dollar values, but ensuring that you understand what your money is going to, where you want your money to go to, and you make that a priority. And you also understand the emotional contributors to the decisions that you're making. So we're taking a dual pronged approach to understanding where your money is going. And I'm hoping that if you do that, track your spending, track your money for, let's say, I'll start with 2 weeks because a month can feel daunting. Start with a week, start with 2 weeks, track the emotions around the spending activities, around those financial activities. And then we're going to see, you can come back, review that, and you will see a story starting to be told. You will see some patterns starting to emerge. Definitely if you do it for 2 weeks, absolutely if you do it for a month. And do that in real time if you can. If you're at the checkout counter and you're looking at that thing that was not on the list, just do a quick emotion check and so on. So try that and see if that helps you get a better handle on where your money is going and why it's not actually working towards what you wanted, what you declared that you wanted to work on. Okay, let's look at another question. So question number 2. I keep hearing about investing, but it feels so overwhelming. Where do I even begin, especially when I feel like I'm already stretched thin? Oh boy. Oh boy. Now, I don't really have, I can say I have personal experience with that, but for the last 15, 16 years, I came into coaching having been a financial advisor. So the investing world has always been exciting to me. I understand, however, that for many, many of my clients, investing is scary business. Like you look at all the tickers going across at the bottom of the screen when you watch the news, and you're like, what does it all mean? They're just a jumbles of letters, numbers, and all of that. And not to mention when the financial analysts come on the news and they're trying to give you an update on the markets and the financial futures and what the indexes are doing and all that, and you're like, it's all just flying over your head. You go do something else because you're really not understanding or appreciating any of it. You figure this is not for you. Well, it is for you, but probably not that way, because the way financial markets and investing is often represented on mainstream media, it feels like you have to go and get a rocket science degree in order for you to understand it, much less to participate confidently. So I get that investing can seem overwhelming. I get that the world makes it seem like it's more complex than it actually is. And that's the key here. We don't need to dumb it down, because you're not dumb and we're certainly not looking for downward movement. We're actually going to make this experience for you something that you value and something that you can do confidently. So all you need to really figure out is, what do I need to know to get the results that I need to get? We're going to have to wrap our mind around the idea that, yes, you will need to do some learning, and learning is exciting. You can certainly do it in a way that excites you and in a way that makes you want to learn more. But investing is simple. Most of us have access to self-directed investing platforms where we can do investing ourselves, or you can choose to use the skill set of a licensed investment advisor. And they come in all shapes and sizes. Understanding how much time you're willing to invest in learning is going to determine how much of this you want to take on yourself. Also understand that depending on where you are in your life, where you are, whether you're getting ready for retirement, whether you're dealing with 6, 7, 8 figures, whether you're dealing with a new family that is young and there isn't a lot of discretionary or excess monies available. Depending on how intricate you want to set your investment portfolio to be, and you're going to choose one of a few different ways to participate. But here's the just no BS. Let's just talk. Investing is not complicated. And especially in this day and age, we have avenues where all of us can participate with as little as you have. $25 a month is enough to get you started with a regular investing strategy. So you don't need to be a math whiz. You don't need a specialized degree. You don't need years and years of practice. And you certainly don't need to be watching the markets go tick tock in order for you to participate competitively and successfully. So let's forget about the jargon and let's focus on why you want to participate and what results you want to get. What do you want to achieve from investing? If you want to become a millionaire tomorrow, I'm going to tell you, check yourself into a facility. That's not going to happen. However, if you want a strategy that's going to help your money work for you, then 100% we can do that and we can grow your money without you having to work for every penny of growth. So anchor your initial steps in a clear vision of what you want to achieve and start small. Do not start by investing, $2,000 a month that you're the only one making decisions about. I think it's better for you if you have that kind of money to start investing on a regular basis, get a professional, because that kind of money on a regular basis adds up to a lot, and the potential, the opportunity is there to really, exponentially grow that if you have a great strategy. That being said, that amount of money can disappear right quick and it'll hurt if you are just learning, but you're making the wrong moves. So I'm always a proponent of, learning. And when I do my introduction to investing classes, I always start with, an investing simulator. Start participating in the market, but with monopoly money. Start learning, start making some moves. And in the meantime, just get in the habit of putting a little away and making some investing choices. What I want you to take away for this question is, 1, it's not complicated. 2, start small. And 3, start. For goodness sake, start. The thing that seems like a mountain in front of you becomes the mountain that you're standing on top of once you start taking one step at a time and you get going. So just get started. And of course, I'm here to help. If you need to reach out to me, I'm happy to help you with that. And I think we've got some time. We can do one more question right quick. Okay. Oh, that's a doozy. Question number 3. My partner and I have different money styles, and it's causing tension. Yeah, I know that well. How can we get on the same page without it always leading to an argument? One thing I've actually come to appreciate as I've worked with couples that are genuinely respectful of each other, appreciative of each other, but the money thing just doesn't seem to be settling. It just doesn't seem to, you guys just can't seem to get in sync with the money thing. One of the breakthroughs that I have seen is this: your opposites, the ways that you approach money, the differences in the ways that you approach money actually can complement as opposed to draw you apart. So if you're listening to this podcast, I am putting my fingers together and bumping fingertips to fingertips. That's what happens if you're coming at a problem with the similar ideas, maybe different perspectives, but you are hitting each other with a very simple change, a very simple tweak. You can move your fingers in such a way that you're no longer hitting each other, but you are sliding in between. And in doing that, you now have the opportunity to create a bond as opposed to being adversaries. Instead of knocking each other, you can cling to and join your fingers together or your strategies together. And I have actually found that in relationships that are built on mutual respect and genuine love and understanding, it's so simple with that little shift to actually have your financial differences become your strength. So, something I want you to understand is this: nobody is wrong and nobody is right. You're different. Again, this is for healthy relationships. So, we're not talking about dysfunction. We're talking about healthy relationships where the math of the numbers and the money and the objectives and goals just doesn't seem to be able to fall in line. Um, in these relationships, we can approach your money in a way that allows both of you to meet your objectives, get what you need out of your money, and build your family together. Your shared priorities, your shared objectives become your guiding principles. It becomes what leads. It becomes your priority. It sets the tone, and everything else comes after. But first, you need to bring those priorities together. I like to use the analogy of two horses pulling a cart. Even if both of you think you're going towards the same goal, there are 1,000 different ways to approach it. So if Charlie Horse and Betsy Horse are pulling the same cart but in different directions, chances are they'll both get to where they're going, but the cart will fall apart before they can get there. So it's important to understand that if you are working your finances together, if you are together managing the finances of your home, your family, your relationship, then it is imperative that you align your goals and align the strategies. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's doing the same thing, because another component of that is we need roles. We need to assign you activities within your financial life that actually speak to your strengths and not your weaknesses. So the one who's really great at spending is the one who should be in charge of, getting experiences that are like, oh, I'll never forget this. This was really great. The one who's really good at, managing and keeping things within the boundaries, you set that up. You set up and you monitor the boundaries for spending, the limits within which you can operate and still be able to have the life that you want. So the two together actually complement. The one who's together, you create the budgets, you create those cash flow plans, and you assign the roles. So you know that within your strength, you can contribute to the healthy financial outcomes of your family. So what I want you to take away from this is, instead of, focusing on what each of you is spending, I want you to first identify your shared values and your joint financial goals, and anchor your money conversations in that united vision that you have for your future. Stop the blame game. It does not help. There has to be some vulnerability, yes. There has to be some taking of responsibility, yes. But the blame game does not contribute to actually having healthy conversations. So move away from the idea of conflict. Those fingers are butting at each other again. In the case of that conversation, it might be heads butting. Move away from the idea of conflict and move towards the idea of collaboration, where your fingers can fit nicely together. And instead of finances dividing you, causing tension and problems within your relationship, your finances can actually draw you and hold you together. Another component of a strong, healthy, financially wealthy relationship. So I hope that has been helpful to you. That's it for our mailbag today. That's it for our Q&A. I hope that you've been blessed by the insights, and that this has helped to spark some action in the right direction for you. Remember that you are capable of becoming wealthy on purpose, and you absolutely have the power to create the life that you desire. You can create that lasting change. It is not impossible, and I'm looking forward to hearing of your success that you've experienced once you've put those into place. So, everyone, thanks again. I hope this episode has been beneficial, and I'm looking forward to seeing you soon. So, take care. Bye. Thank you for joining me today on Catalyst Conversations. I hope this episode sparked something powerful to help on your journey to building wealth confidently and unapologetically. If you loved today's conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. And if something resonated with you, I'd love to hear about it. Let's keep the conversation going. Until next time, keep moving toward your goals, stay empowered, and continue sparking change on your wealth journey. This is Hadriana, and you've been listening to Catalyst Conversations.